What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Cybient, or Acid Cybient, as I call it in my Ambient Excursion series. Those of you who follow the Ambient Excursion will know that the individual mixes are often a mixture of Cybient, down-tempo, chill-out, chill-gressive, proper like progressive trance, or what I call sometimes ambient trance. As well as true ambient. So each of the individual mixes might have one more of those flavors versus the others. But yeah, the ambient excursion overall is a blend of all those elements, and then just for simplification and because I try to choose tracks that do have an acid component to one degree or another, I just call the style acid Cybient. Sorry. So yeah, I just started this playlist of doing reactions. You know, I've been making this kind of mix for over a decade. And then those of you who follow the excursion will know, in the mid-2010s, I ended up running a radio show that was part of Pure Radio, an internet radio station in Amsterdam. It recently is defunct, like I think about 4 years ago. It stopped going. Part of the issue was the founder, Mart Moon, passed away, and Ricardo and a couple other people involved with the channel carried it on for a couple years after that, but eventually they let it go. So yeah, I did an ambient show on that channel for I think it was like a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and I was doing 2 mixes every week, so like 8 mixes in this style every month. And again, it was maybe like 2 years, so there are hundreds of mixes. I put up 90 in my playlist so far, but we're just getting started. And yeah, I did actually run a hardcore channel, or a hardcore show on the station for a short while too, maybe like 6 months. Bottom line, I eventually realized once I was doing these reactions that, you know what, I should start reacting to some of these Cybient tunes, because they're just some of my favorite music in the world, period. Meaning, I like all different kinds of music, and there's some music that can really hit me profoundly and, you know, give me goosebumps and have my mind like on fire. Well, there are a few genres, if any, that do that as consistently and as exceptionally as really good acid Cybient. So yeah, I felt like it was just a perfect opportunity to start reacting to this stuff. Now, admittedly, I think, you know, the interest will continue to be small, just in the sense that since I've started this new channel, you know, my techno and my acid trance reactions, they do get a little bit of interest, but yeah, they still remain maybe less viewed than reactions to like punk rock and synth pop and so on. So bottom line, I think this might remain like a smaller playlist, but I'm going to keep doing it just because I absolutely love these tunes, and I know there's at least some of you out there who do follow the Ambient Excursion mixes, which I very much appreciate. So yeah, we're going to listen to a track by Cydelix. Cydelix is from Greece. He used to make trance like proper in the late 90s and early 2000s, and then it says on his Discogs page that in 2004 he switched to making progressive trance and chill out. But yeah, bottom line, I know his music from the Cybient like chill out side. I don't really know his proper like trance music from before that, though it does make me curious now that I see this. But yeah, his real name is George Deligiannis. And as I said, he's originally from Greece. Doesn't say where he's located or, you know, based out of these days, but let's see, most recent production 2020, so still, you know, producing recently. His last album was 2015, so a few years back. But yeah, he did a track called Optovisuals in 2020, also on Cosmic Leaf, where the majority of the material that he puts out is on. And for the record, is it Canadian or no? Wait, that's no, it's Greece. Okay, so Cosmic Leaf is actually from Greece. There's another Cybient label. I'm trying to think of what it is. Maybe it's Alter. Maybe that's not right, but basically there's one of the Cybient labels is based in Canada. Regardless, we're going to listen to a track by Cydelix, and the tune that we're going to listen to is called Anadromi, 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 perhaps. I use this track in my most recently posted Ambient Excursion, number 90, which is called Above the Horizon. And when I was, you know, these mixes, I recorded them many years ago. You know, I started recording them like 2011, and then after doing them for a couple years and putting them on a couple different DJ sites, I didn't start using SoundCloud till 2013. So originally it was on a different website that doesn't exist anymore. When that ended, I went over to SoundCloud. And then after doing that for a couple years, I came into contact with the Pure Radio people, and they heard a couple of these mixes, and they were like, whoa, 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 you should do that on our channel. After that, I started making them more regularly. But basically, a lot of these mixes are from like 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. Well, I was like finishing grad school during those years, and I was also like working as a graduate assistant and teaching assistant. I was also working like another job, 20 hours a week. I basically recorded these mixes, put them on the radio station each weekend, and then never like I couldn't even like listen to the shows. Like the moment I would post them, like before the show began, I'd have to like go, keep working on my thesis or whatever it was. So literally, like, I have like 350 or something of these ambient mixes or acid Cybian mixes. I haven't really listened to most of them. There's a couple, like, because occasionally Pure would do like a special show on a weekend, like, hey, all Pure DJs, we're gonna do a special weekender and whatever. So in those cases, I would make sort of like a greatest hits. I'd think about, I use this track and this mix and this track or whatever. So there's a couple of my side B mixes that I have actually listened to over the years, but the vast majority, like, I made them and then never listened to them again. So when I've been posting them on YouTube, it's been an interesting experience because, like, oh my god, I forgot how good this track was, and oh damn, I don't even remember what this track is at all. I have to look in the track list. So yeah, I've been like really enjoying the ambient mixes just because even though they're my mixes, they were so like in the middle of everything else I was doing. I really didn't get to appreciate the tracks that I used in them as much as I should have. So yeah, the last mix that I posted, Above the Horizon, I had it on when I was doing some work on the computer the other day, and I was just like, oh my god, this track is unbelievable. So I figured we'd come here and react to it. So with no further ado, this is Cydelix, and the track is Anadromi. So many elements to talk about already. Otherwise feels very like brooding, kind of like Near Eastern vibes. That piano just marched right across. Sample, some hard drum and bass, heavy bass pads. If I ever despair about humanity, I remind myself that there are humans capable of making art like this. section compared to some of the other parts, but equally moving. That old school reggae sample is a really great touch. It might seem like, in a way, different from a lot of what else is going on, but that makes it work. You hear the bass. What a perfect end. I can't believe it. An utterly masterful tune. To finish it with a gong like that is just, you know, a cherry on top. I mean, honestly, I mention it, not only is Cybian as moving to me as pretty much any other kind of music, and I listen to, you know, like classical music, and I'm trying to think, you know, like techno obviously is very important to me, but like, I listen to a lot of different kinds of music that are very passionate, powerful, and meaningful to me personally. But I'm telling you that very few types of music, if any, can just transport my emotions in my brain like Cybian can. And yeah, it's interesting. I was thinking when I was listening to that, not only do I enjoy it in the moment, but it was reminding me, like, I don't know for this tune specifically, but there were several times, like when back in the mid 2010s when I was making these mixes, and again just kind of posting them and then going on and beginning work on stuff for the next week, and then again next week make 2 more mixes, don't even think about them, put them up. But I am remembering now because you know, it felt like that might have been a tune where this happened, but there'd be multiple times where I'd be making the mixes, you know, and I'd be like, one tune's playing and I'm like preparing to like put another tune in. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, like multiple times, because when I was living, when I was in grad school, I lived right next to the campus. I went to Cal State Fullerton, so I was like right next to the campus in Fullerton, and I didn't have a roommate at the time. I was living by myself, and so, you know, I have no one to catalog the number of times this happened, but I can't tell you like how many dozens of times I'd be putting together a Cybian mix, and like just because of one of the tunes, like while I was mixing, I'd literally just say aloud like, oh my God, or fucking hell. And I'm sure that was one of the tunes that must have done that to me, because yeah, that's just fantastic. And like the blending of the different elements, it's got drum and bass, so it has kind of like a rave music feel in some parts, but it's also very sweeping and cinematic, and like I said, it has kind of like a Near Eastern feel, and like, you know, both the percussion in one section, it had that sort of same vibe, but then it breaks into the drum and bass. There was that other section where like there's a lot of synth, including like string synth work, but it wasn't that kind of like main sort of like Eastern riff. And that section was like very emotional, but it was more subtle, a bit more like restrained. So I like the variety, and I like the sort of contrasts that are brought together for the sort of harmonic whole. Yeah, just a brilliant tune. Let me know what you think. Shout out to Cydelix, just an unbelievable track. I'll see you next time. Peace.